when we left off, we had put in jeté and movement, and now we're just going to hold the option down and clone movement. I'm keeping my finger on the shift to keep it in a straight line. And then here is the movement copy layer. I'm double clicking the T to select the word, and I'm typing in Grace. And then I'm going to go to my move tool and take a look at what I've just done. All right, now again, I'm just showing you these different techniques, but there still has to be a lot of editing and a lot of trial and error to see if this is the right typeface. Personally, I think I would change this to a sans serif, but we'll play with that later on. The next thing we're going to do is put in smaller type in these areas, and we have to work on sizing that type. So for the example, I will give you from here. Let's do this one. Nobody cares if you can't dance well. So I want to select that. I'm going to copy and paste it into mine. So I'm going to point to that. It brings up my text layer here. I will double click the T and select it. Command C copies it. I'm going to our document now, and I'm going to take my text tool and draw a box in here. I draw the container first. My text is already too big, so I'm going to go here and I'm going to fit it in there, so I'll go 14 points, see what it looks like. Then I'm going to do a Command V. So it shows me nobody cares if you don't dance well, just get up and dance. Great dancers are great. And now this tells me there's more to show because of their passion. So now I have put that in. The object is to format this type so it works in that space, but keep in mind that whichever font that you choose, you should try to replicate that in these other body copy areas. So let me just show you for now. So right now I have this as a line center. So you make a decision whether you want whatever type you're using to align it center. I'm going to try, in this case, let's do a line left and see what that looks like. That comes over to here. Now at the leading, the spaces between the line, in this case there's a little bit too much leading. Now the keystroke command to manually adjust this is Option up arrow, and I'm bringing the spaces between the lines closer together. Now that is going to be reflected in the window character panel, and it shows you that the leading is 25 points. The point size is 19 points. All right, now for now I just wanted to show you these different ways. You decide whatever's going to work for you depending on the length of the quotations or statements that you're going to put in that area. All right, so for now I'm going to keep it a line left. I'm going to keep it at that point size. Now, as far as the color goes, I'll click my move tool, and black doesn't work so well. So I want to make sure it's going to be contrasting to the brown background, but also go with the pictures, the colors in the picture. So double click the T and select the type. Up here, it's telling me the type is black. I click on the color picker. My mouse becomes an eyedropper, and let's go with a lighter tone like that. Now that one came from her neck, and that seems to be a good contrast with this. Keep in mind that in most cases your black will be your default color. Black normally is too contrasting. So in this case, this works nicely with that background color. When you do this, you can always adjust this pixel right here to make it lighter, and you'll see it appear here. I'm going to click OK. That's fine. Now, I want to take another type and format it the same way. So let's take the move tool and we'll point to the type and hold the option down, drag the type over here. Now, as you can see, we give a clone of that statement. So let's go back. The next bit of type I'm going to get from here. I'm going to go, dance is the hidden language of the soul. So I click on that, double click the T, Command C copies it. I go to my document. Now, in order to select this, I double click the T, and then I do Command V, and it pastes my new one right over the old one. Of course, that's not so good because my color was not the same. So now I'm going to double click the T and select it, go up here, and I'm going to go over to here and pick that color. No, that's not the right color. Let's go here. Let's go back over to here again. And I made it the same color. Now, I want to point out, when you're in this color picker, notice that it says add to swatches. That's also a very handy thing to do. However, we have had trouble in the lab, in the Viscom lab, with the program crashing when you added to swatches. So I'm not going to instruct you to do that today. So for now, I did that color for this. Now I'm going to go OK. Now because the type is selected, I can adjust the container so that it fits in here. Now here I decided, do I want this to be centered or align left? Since I did this one align left, I'll do this one align left. And let me take a look. And so far that seems okay. There might be an indent. All right, so right now I have this one is based on the same attributes of this one. Finally, I'm going to clone this one, hold the option, bring this over to here, and then I want to go to my original just so I can see what I'm going to be typing here. And I'm going to go to dance is the hidden language of the soul. I just did that, and here's the jobs of feet. Okay, I'm going to double click the T and I select, I do Command C and copy it. Then I go to my original and I'm going to go to this dance copy here, and I'm going to do Command V and paste. Then I double click the T to select that type, and I go up here and click over on the neck and set it like that. So this is the basic way of trying to keep all of these unified, that they all look the same. Now of course I would change the spacing here and maybe change the alignment on this one, the job of, let's go here. Let's make this one align left, like that. Now, whenever you're working with type, understand that you can control. I want to take a look at the paragraph. And right now it's showing me, as you can see, there's a 6-point indent, first line indent. So I'm going to go 0, and it adjusts that space there. I'm going to do the same thing on this one. So I click the type, and right here, and I've double clicked the T, and then I'm going to take out and make that 0. And finally, go to the Move tool, click on that one, double click the T, and remove the indent. So now you can see they're all uniform in that respect. Okay, now the last thing we're going to do, obviously there's a lot of things to work on, but the last thing I'm going to go over is how to do a background And there is, first let's go down to the bottom of the layer, and here's my favorite. Now if I hide my favorite, we have that. So right now let's do something to articulate the frame, and I'll show you a couple ways to do this. We're going to go to my favorite first, target that layer, and first draw, make a new layer. And just since this is a sample, I'm going to double click this. I'm going to go say top panel. So this is going to cover up the favorite and this stuff in the template. So I'm going to take my marquee tool and do a rectangular marquee in like this in that area. Now, depending on your design and the colors you're using, I want to go to my color picker here, and I'm going to pick a color that's going to contrast. I want to do something that's going to allow this type to be red, but it also has to be different from this and this. So let's just try, let's see what this looks like. That's like a lighter tan. And just let's see what that is. Let's try another gray one. We'll go up here. That's like a brownish. Again, you can play with this here, and you can see the results of your movement up in this box right here. Now let's just try that and see. I'm going to go OK. Then I'm going to go Edit, Fill, Contents Foreground Color. So now we have that color, which is contrasting to this down here. Now keep in mind, these photo areas are going to be containing additional photos. But I wanted to show you how you can now cover up the template with that system. Now I'm going to do a Command D and deselect. Now a very clean way to finish this thing is to articulate these lines. Now the best way to do that one, I'm going to make a new layer, and I'm going to go to my rectangle tool, and I'm going to draw a rectangle around the whole thing. Now the rectangle is rectangle 1 here, and it took the color of the background. Now I don't want that, so I'm going to click on this. I brought up the, let's cancel, wait. There's the rectangle tool. I click on the rectangle, and I'm looking for properties. There it is. When you bring the rectangle up, you'll see properties. Right now, I don't want the background to be colored, so I click on this. I hit none. I click on the stroke of the rectangle. I'm going to make the pixel width of the stroke more so I can see it. Let's go about 4. You can see the stroke now is black. Now I'm going to click on this and make it the brown color that we just used, which is right there. And there you have, that's by using the rectangle tool, that puts that line around it. Now, since we're running out of time, we will stop for now, and in order for you to do, if you want to show these other lines, you simply clone this rectangle, you select it, and you can drag it like this, make a clone of it, and then I'm going to undo that because you can't see it. I'm going to take my top panel and I'll drag it to the new layer button here, and then I can point and select it. This is top panel, not top, rectangle 1. Here's that copy, and I'm going to select it. And here I want to, okay, I'm going to close for now,